I mean, again, it's not a lot. But the biggest thing is you missed on 2 of your transfer portal guys. Like you, and the one I talked to another coach that's at Louisville. He brought up the greatest point. So 2022, they brought guys that fit the system that they recruited, and they got the maximum out of those guys. But you also had a quarterback who was in the system that understood it more. So you got the most out of Johnny Wilson. You got the most. You really got good work out of Trey Benson, because remember they had a guy that they brought in from Auburn, a running back that ended up Trey Benson ended up beaten out, and he ended up transferring out again. 2023, all the transfer portal guys that Florida State got were starters. Well, not all of them. Most of them were starters at their previous spot. So what does that mean? You got the D tackle from Western Michigan. He was a starter at Western Michigan when he came here. Jaheim Bell was a starter at South Carolina. Some people didn't even understand why Jaheim Bell hit the transfer portal. He could have been drafted that year. You got Keon Coleman was a starter at Michigan State. A lot of these guys were starters, and they came in and they gave you starting reps, or even if they were a backup, that was a guy with experience as opposed to Grady, like who's going to be fine, but he's a redshirt sophomore and he wasn't a starter. You got guys that came from smaller levels from Alabama that you thought would be good, but they were young guys that didn't start, that don't have as much experience as you want. I think the only starter we got is Cam, and I don't even think he should have came in the spring, but he hasn't been what was advertised for him at linebacker. So
the one thing to add to that as well that goes right with that is you didn't just have the 23 and the 22 class. This is something that has been largely ignored by myself even. You built up transfers. You had transfers from 2019, 2020, 21, 22, and 23 all go in this draft. They all came back. They were all supposed to leave in 22. They came back to win a title. Plus, you brought that guys in. So, yeah, you missed a lot on this class, but it's not even just that. It's like you brought Grady in, but you brought him in 2020. His name was Fabian Lovett, or 2019, and he was a senior. And so, in hindsight, we were never, ever going to replace 3 of the best portal classes that there were to this date. But, yeah, absolutely. Sorry to cut you off, but that was like burning my soul to get that out.
So they missed on their portal guys, but guys got to stop being so detrimental and saying you can't live and die in the portal. Shoot, who living and dying in the portal right now and is having a great season.
We're 80% high school. We're the most high school we've been the whole time. The issue is the high school guys weren't ready. They stepped in and didn't get better.
What I'm saying is this is me, Mark, so you can tell them I'm giving them props. This guy, Cam Ward, pretty damn good. The guy who I watched at Cal really set it off in the second half. Simeon Barrow did not start off at Miami. A lot of the linebacker, I think it's Mayago or something like that, did not start off at Miami. It's not a problem with them. Again, stop just because you miss that. It only affects you in multiple seasons when you put your head in the sand and you say and you force it to work. You're going to lose 30. You're going to lose 30 players every year. Lose those 30 players. You need to correct it. You need to get your guys in the future for high school, and you need to get you some guys in the portal. And I'll say this, where I was really wrong, I thought they would have got some quality people in that second round after the college football playoff where more people hit the portal. But maybe that December window was a lot more important, but they were preparing for the Orange Bowl. So I get why they missed on that part. So you need to be a little bit better in that. And then, I don't call for coaches' heads, but obviously when you lose in the manner in which you're losing, you're going to have to make changes. So they're going to make changes. They just need to go out and get some exciting people. I personally love the guy at UNLV. I loved him even more when I realized that he was Mike's quarterback at Tulsa. I did not realize that. So Mike has a tree. He's had coaches. A lot of them are going on to become head coaches. He just needs to go and do his thing, man. So he's got to make the changes and shoot. And just make the best of this year. You still got to go out there and coach for wins. Going defeated the rest of the year ain't going to help you get more of a recruiting class. So you got to go do what you need to do.
Yeah, not only that, like they did an interview. I'm sure you saw it. Like somebody found it a couple of days ago. Like when asked who the most influential coaches are in his life, he named his high school coach and then he named Mike Norvell. So yeah, there's definitely some truth to that. I know Deshaun on our channel was on him super big time early, but yeah, I agree. And yeah, you got to win a couple games, but with the way it sets up with the bye, when we get Duke, obviously we've never lost to Duke before. If somehow you can beat Duke and then take care of Miami, boy, that would be amazing. But we will see.
There's a lot of wishes right there, man.
Wishes, yeah. Well, take Cam Ward out of the situation, and I legitimately think we could go out there and do something. But I have a hard time thinking in crunch time that Cam Ward won't be able to run around back there and make something happen on this defense. But we'll see. It would be amazing. Like, it would be better than winning the ACC championship last year. That's how hyped I would be if we won that game. Like, it would be something.
What I won't do is act like a Miami fan. Cam Ward is there. Like, I heard for years, if Jordan Travis wasn't there, well, Jordan Travis was there. Cam Ward is there. Cam Ward is better than Cam Ward reminds me of Jameis in 2014. Like, I believe he's so bored that he has to give the spot the other team points.
I was waiting to see what year you said, but 2014, yeah, that is.
Oh, when Jameis, like, remember the Louisville game when Jameis threw 3 interceptions in the first half, and like they came back down 21. It was clearly Jameis's fault why Florida State had to come back from some of the games they came from. Like, Cam Ward, as amazing as he is, it's Cam Ward's fault you had to come back from Virginia Tech. It's Cam Ward's fault you had to come back from Cal. But it's also Cam Ward the reason why you came back. And I told a guy was on my channel all the time, Luke was like livid with Miami. I said, bro, you guys have Cam Ward. As long as you have Cam Ward, you're going to be fine. And you know, again, respect to where it's due. But yes, if he can somehow beat Miami, that would be a great feather in the cap. But as of right now, when I looked at this season, probably being the best you could do is go 5-7. I'll just be honest with you. Like, I mean, the reason why is because you had the 3 teams that are on your schedule that are better than you are were Clemson, Miami, and Notre Dame, and you've already lost 4 games. So, like, you know, just losing to those games, losing to those guys and beating everybody else, you're in a situation where your season's over after Thanksgiving. So, and that's stuff that I don't ever understand because I've never been privy to how that feels to go home and play a game before New Year's. So, but it's those guys got to play for pride, and that's the thing that's really the most damning thing that everybody keeps talking about. Is that there just is no sense of urgency. There just is no sense of pride. And a lot of people are just using words and phrases that are football phrases that they really don't, like gamer and things of that nature. And I had Seminole legend Peter Warwick on to talk about what is it like, you know, were you just a gamer? What were practices like? And he says, no, man, practice is indicative of how you're going to play. Like, period. Like, there is no such thing. And he's like, the most dangerous place to be a gamer is at quarterback. Because nobody knows what you can do. So, like, that's why, you know, they've got to get back to where they're actually competing so they know what it feels like when they get into a game-like situation. So,
I think that's 100% correct, but I think you also have to acknowledge, at least in some spot, that quarterback is the one spot that is a factor. Like, coaches get it wrong in the NFL every single year, and college football every single year, like a lot.
Let's listen to the guys who got it right. What would Tom Brady say in that situation? There is actually documented things of what Tom Brady has said in that. What did Drew Brees say in that situation? What has everybody said in those situations? And everybody's attitude reflects leadership. You cannot, if you don't know what you're doing in practice, it's going to, the old idiom is you play like you practice. So if that's the idiom and the excuse is he's just a gamer, it's only going to give you a spark for a little bit.
But they were able to run a different offense. He said it with Brock Glenn due to his mobility. Like, I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying you're absolutely right. But as a fan, when you're sitting there, like,
when you say how many rollout passes did you see Brock Glenn throw?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
let's say if the offense is different due to his mobility,
that's what everybody was making.
That's what I'm saying. So if you see the rollout, you would see more of those, is what I'm saying, due to his mobility. You saw more drop back passes, which to me, it's just asinine. What they did was they actually simplified the offense and then did what he's more comfortable doing, which is simple drop back. But he is a better athlete. I wish they would pull the ball a little bit more, but they had to adjust, and him or Luke are the future. And that's the thing. But the part that's asinine is that the wide receiver, and one thing, oof. Now, Makai's, I get why Makai dropped, but the Poitier drop is just inexcusable.
And the block miss. Jesus.
Yes.
That Tony run would have been 20 yards.
So we see all of these things, and we know it's more than one person. And I think I want to see more. Well, I have no choice but see more of Brock. But I think what ends up happening is we're trying to explain things, and it's really unexplainable what we're trying to explain. And even with DJ, and even that, it is something. And we can talk about transfer report, but everybody else does it, and nobody looks this bad. And that's just where the issue comes. Like I don't think right now the way those guys are playing, they can't beat Mandarin High School. Like they don't know. Like, and that should never be something that's said.
Facts on top of facts, and it's tough. But when you got to talk about it, we all have these shows that we do all these shows every week, so it's a lot tougher when it's this is what the product is. But I'm sure it's a lot tougher on those guys in that locker room. So
yeah,
hopefully they get it together.